This is Orshi Abraham, Marketing Chair for the Ethernet Alliance. We're here at beautiful San Diego at OFC 2022. The Ethernet Alliance is an industry consortium of member organizations. They include key members of the Ethernet ecosystem, and we're dedicated to accelerate the adoption and deployment of Ethernet technologies across the market. We are the voice of Ethernet, and we provide a bridge between the IEEE Ethernet standards and the end users of Ethernet technologies. The Ethernet Alliance's mission is to accelerate Ethernet's deployment and adoption. And we do that in various ways, through market awareness, through education, and industry demonstrations like the one you see behind me.
This year, we have 15 member companies from the Ethernet Alliance that are participating with us. Interestingly enough, 7 of those are test and measurement companies. I point that out because I think test and measurement this year is really coming about in its new phase and being recognized for its importance in the industry.
Hi, I'm Mike Klumpa. I'm an engineer at Amphenol, and I'm the Interconnect lead for the Ethernet Alliance's OFC 2022 booth. We have the distinct pleasure of rolling out a new milestone in Ethernet, 800 gig. It's a big deal for us because not only there's not just one product being shown at 800 gig, there's a large ecosystem. Most of the company participants are debuting some sort of 800 gig product, so it's a great step in the ecosystem for Ethernet as a whole. Additionally, there are 800 gig capable ports communicating with 400 gig capable ports, which are also communicating with 100 gig capable ports, all the way down to 10 gig SerDes.
Hello, my name is Jean-Marie Villain. I'm from EXFO and also a tech lead at Ethernet Alliance. Today I would like to talk to you about 3 important demos that we have at the Ethernet Alliance booth at OFC 2022. The first one I would like to talk about is actually the 400 gig ZR demo. I have a couple of things that I want to discuss today about that demo, but specifically is that we are showing here interoperability between multiple test vendors using a ZR optical unit and connecting to an Arista 800 gig switch. My colleague Anthony from also Ethernet Alliance will be covering more the amplify aspect of that demo, but in our case here, what I'd like to show is that we are using multiple test vendors from EXFO, where we are showing an OSFP coherent transceiver and then connecting to an Anritsu 400 gig test unit. And we also have other test generators, vendors like Spirent, connecting to a Keysight test unit, where we also are demonstrating a ZR connectivity. As you all know, ZR could actually produce traffic generation up to 120 kilometers. In this particular demo, we didn't have the spool of fiber. We are showing pretty much around 80 kilometers. But again, you could definitely see once you come to the booth that this generation of traffic could go up to 120 kilometers.
Hi, this is Anthony with the Ethernet Alliance. And today I'm going to talk about the 400 gig ZR demo with the Arista and Juniper switches. So in the demo here for the show, we basically have 3 switches. We have 2 Arista switches and 1 Juniper, basically sending traffic to different locations. We also in the demo are showing the Arista OSFP ZR amplifier that allows you to connect multiple devices, multiple testers. So it's a pretty good demo, shows how concise some of these parts that we test are basically shrinking in size and more functionality to it.
My second demo that I would like to address is the 400 gig demo. Again, the whole point here is to show interoperability between multiple test vendors on the traffic generation side, also on the connectivity side, where we do have DAC cables, optical fibers, AOC cable, and then all that connecting together, generating a 400 gig internet traffic. Again, the same purpose here. We do have multiple test vendors, including Spirent, Xilinx, Keysight, EXFO, generating a whole bunch of traffic. Again, all these 400 gig connectivity going through an Arista 800 gig and 400 gig switch, where we again have connectivity for 800 gig connectivity to a 2x FR4, and also connecting to using Amphenol to a Keysight test unit. Same for the second demo, where we do have EXFO generating FR4 connectivity at 400 gig, connecting to different testers, again to Spirent, Xilinx, Keysight, and other equipment. And all that, again, going through an 800 gig switch and a 400 gig switch from Arista in this particular case, but that could also be any other member vendor that we have, like Juniper, which is also part of this 400 gig demo.
All right, the next demo is the 400 gig demo, where we basically show a lot of the different components that make up 400 gig infrastructure. That includes the 400 gig AOC, the 400 gig DR, both in native 400 gig and 4x100 gig to 100 gig demos. The SR8s for multi-mode purposes, the DAC cable is brought up by Amphenol, TE, and an active copper cable by Spectre 7. They basically show how all this stuff can connect different vendors together in different ways, including the test tools that we use to generate some of the traffic during the show. We also have Xena that basically is doing some of the connectivity to show the next 400 gig tester. Again, showing that the vendors, the multi-vendors that we have can actually send traffic to each other, more of what a customer would have versus one vendor, to show that all these vendors can work together, which we do at the show.
Hi, this is Steve Rumsby here representing the Ethernet Alliance as an architect and technical support member. And today I'm here to introduce 3 of our demonstrations here at OFC. The first is our 800 gig demonstration, showing 2x400 gig operation compliant with IEEE's 802.3 CK standard. So the key in the demonstration is illustrating that it really takes a village to enable Ethernet. And that's really what it's all about and what the Ethernet Alliance is all about. And in our demonstration, we have an Arista switch connected up to a wide range of test gear from, again, we have Keysight, Spirent, EXFO, and Anritsu all engaged, and Xena all engaged in our 800 gig demonstrations. And in our test setup, connected to the Arista switch, we have a wide range of transceivers and direct attach cables, DACs. In our demonstration, we have a TE connectivity DAC connecting 2 ports of the Arista switch. We have an Amphenol cable connecting 2 ports of the switch. To the Arista switch, we also have connected by DR8 fiber to a Keysight analyzer. We have the same connected to a Spirent analyzer, again, all doing 2x400. We have a direct attach cable between the Arista OSFP to the Spirent product that's doing QSFP DD in this case. Also, we have FR4 optics, in this case showing a 2x FR4 breaking out into 2 different FR4s, showing the capability of taking the 2x400 and breaking it out into 2 independent 400 gig links. And we also show connectivity to 56 gig lanes, showing backward connectivity to 400 gig operation. The second demonstration that I'll be reviewing today is also 112 gig electrical lanes. In this case, the focus is 8x100 gig mode operation. And in 8x100 gig mode operation, connected up to the Arista network switch, we have a DR8 cable, again carrying 8x100 over to a Keysight test equipment. And we additionally have a CR8 DAC connected up to the Xena product, again doing data generation, analysis, and capture. The third demonstration that I wanted to share and review today is our 50 gig operation, our 50 gig demo. And here, same thing, it's really showing compatibility and interface between different suppliers. The focus is showing how we're able to take basically 8x50 and break it up into 8 independent connections by both DAC as well as optics. So in this demonstration, we have a data source coming from a Spirent test equipment, going through the Arista switch And the data path is somewhat complex, going back and forth between the Arista Networks switch to a Juniper switch, back and forth optically 4 times, and then through a 8x50 breakout, the data path is going back and forth between the Arista switch and the Juniper network switch. Again, just daisy chaining the data path all the way through that, all the way back through the Spirent product. And again, the key there is showing interoperation for 50 gigahertz support as breakouts from 8x50.
The next demo to talk about is the 200 gig demo. This again is using the TE connectivity copper cable along with the Amphenol cables, which is basically a QSP56. We also have one of our partner Linktel's 400 gig 2FR4 to show that we can take a single interface and break it into 2 200 gig interfaces to the current 200 gig FR4 parts. And then the last demo that I'm going to talk about is the 100 gig demo. So we basically have partners again with us today. Linktel did provide us parts for the 100 gig DR, FR, and LR parts. So we show in the demo how these parts do work with the different test vendors, Spirent, EXFO, and Anritsu. We've also got parts in the Juniper switch that kind of show, again, that these vendors do work closely to make sure that we all follow the same standard and we can interoperate with each other. We also do have a cable that's a little bit different than what we typically show. It's actually an active copper cable that basically takes the 2 pairs of PAM4 at 50 gig, puts them through a 7-meter cable, and becomes a 100 gig NRZ on the other side to give you the full bandwidth of a Ethernet port, 400 gig port. So you can break those, go into servers or whatever else. It's a low wattage part.
We are also demonstrating today at OFC at the Ethernet Alliance booth 800 gig 112 electrical lane connectivity. What we're showing is an EXFO 800 gig bird generating 8 lane of 112 gig electrical connecting to a DAC, 800 gig DAC, which is also providing 800 gig, 8 times 112 gig to the Xena 800 gig tester. So the whole purpose here is to show that we can generate traffic. The traffic has been received, there's no errors, and everything is connected. So this is also part of the demo here that we have at the Ethernet Alliance booth at OFC 2022.
We have several demonstrations occurring here showing the interoperability between components in the ecosystem. One of the most important issues is link training. Link training is the ability for the 2 sides to negotiate the communications channel and what it's going to feature in the way of capabilities and technologies and speed. 2 of those represented here are the 100 gig link training and 400 gig link training. The 100 gig link training between the partners is being demonstrated through the Teledyne LeCroy T328 SierraNet product. The 400 gig is also featuring a Teledyne LeCroy product, the SierraNet M648, representing the exchange of auto-negotiation, link training, and other attributes of the auto-negotiation and link instantiation, I should say.
Our role here at the OFC 2022 event is to demonstrate multi-vendor interoperability. This is the hallmark of Ethernet because it instills confidence in Ethernet solutions and it helps accelerate their deployment.